The last line of defense. Captain Elena Chen stood on the bridge of the U.S. Harbinger, Earth's most advanced warship, and currently its only defense against the approaching Voidborn Armada. The holographic display showed 1,000 alien vessels arranged in a perfect hexagonal formation, advancing toward Earth's solar system with methodical precision. "Status report," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the weight pressing down on her shoulders. Lieutenant Commander Rashid looked up from his console. "All systems operational, Captain. The quantum displacement drive is at 98% efficiency. Weapons are hot. The crew is at battle stations." Elena nodded, studying the tactical display. The Harbinger was humanity's technological marvel, the culmination of 2 decades of reverse engineering alien technology recovered from a crashed scout ship. The KD drive was their ace, an experimental system that could briefly shift the ship partially out of normal spacetime, making it near impossible to hit, but it had never been tested in actual combat. "How long until they reach Saturn's orbit?" Elena asked. "Approximately 4 hours, Captain," replied Lieutenant Park from the navigation station. "They're maintaining their current speed. No signs of acceleration or deceleration." Elena turned to her XO, Commander Jackson. "Thoughts?" Jackson's face was grim. "One ship against 1,000. Conventional tactics won't work. Even with the KD drive, we can't outfight them all." "Then we don't fight conventionally," Elena replied, her mind already formulating a plan. "Get me Admiral Takahashi." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the weathered face of Admiral Yuki Takahashi at Earth Defense Command. "Captain Chen," the Admiral acknowledged. "I assume you've analyzed the situation." "Yes, Admiral. Request permission to engage the Voidborn beyond Saturn's orbit. We need to keep the battle away from Earth." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. That would leave Earth without its only defense. The planetary shield network isn't fully operational yet. "With respect, Admiral, if we wait until they reach Earth, it won't matter. The Harbinger was built for this moment. Let us take the fight to them." After a long pause, Admiral Takahashi nodded. "Permission granted, Captain. But remember, you're not just fighting for victory. You're fighting for time. Every minute you keep them occupied is another minute for civilians to reach the underground shelters and for our engineers to bring the shield network online." "Understood, Admiral. We won't let you down." The transmission ended, and Elena turned to her crew. She could see the fear in their eyes, but also determination. "Set course for the outer reaches of Saturn's rings," she ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves to our visitors." The Harbinger's engines hummed to life, propelling the sleek vessel toward humanity's last stand. 4 hours later, the Harbinger hovered at the edge of Saturn's magnificent rings, using the ice and rock debris as partial cover. The enemy Armada had slowed, clearly detecting the human vessel. "They're scanning us," reported Lieutenant Wei from the sensor station. "Extensive scans. They seem particularly interested in our drive signature." "Let them look," Elena said. "Ensign Dias, open a channel. All frequencies." "Channel open, Captain." Elena straightened her uniform and faced the view screen. "Attention Voidborn Fleet. This is Captain Elena Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Harbinger. You are approaching a protected system. State your intentions or withdraw immediately." For several tense moments, there was nothing but silence. Then the view screen changed, revealing a tall, gaunt figure with iridescent blue-gray skin and 4 glowing yellow eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its mouth was a narrow slit that didn't move as words emanated from somewhere else on its body. "Human vessel." The alien's voice was a modulated series of clicks and hums, translated by the ship's computer. "I am Supreme Commander Catel Kareth of the Voidborn Collective. Your species has been judged and found wanting. Your technological advancement has outpaced your evolutionary maturity. You represent an unacceptable risk to galactic stability." Elena's hands tightened behind her back. "We've had no prior contact with your species. We've made no aggressive moves beyond our solar system. On what basis have we been judged?" We have observed your transmissions for 200 cycles. Your history is one of conflict, resource depletion, and self-destruction. More importantly, you possess technology you do not understand, stolen from the Meridians. Elena exchanged a quick glance with Commander Jackson. They had never known the origin of the crashed ship that had provided Earth's technological leap forward. The Meridians shared their technology with us, Elena bluffed. Zelkareth's eyes pulsed brighter. The Meridians were eradicated by our collective 10 cycles ago for the crime of technological proliferation. Their attempt to elevate your species has sealed your fate. Prepare for extinction. The transmission cut abruptly. They're powering weapons, Wei shouted. Energy signatures off the charts. Evasive maneuvers. Elena ordered. Activate QD drive. The Harbinger lurched as hundreds of energy beams converged on their position. The QD drive engaged, shifting the ship partially out of phase with normal space. Most of the weapons fire passed harmlessly through their semi-corporeal form, but not all. Shields at 82%, reported Lieutenant Commander Rashid. The QD drive can't phase us completely. We never expected it would. Elena replied calmly. Weapons status. Phase cannons charge. Quantum torpedoes loaded. Target their lead vessel and fire everything we've got. The Harbinger's weapons blaze to life, sending brilliant streams of energy and matter/antimatter torpedoes toward the largest void-borne ship. Under normal circumstances, their attack would have been insignificant against such a massive vessel, but the QD drive affected their weapons as well, causing them to partially phase through the enemy shields. The alien vessel shuddered as multiple direct hits breached its hull. Direct hit, Rashid exclaimed. Their shields couldn't fully stop our phased weapons. A small victory, but Elena knew it wouldn't be enough. The enemy formation was already adjusting, breaking into smaller attack groups. They're surrounding us, Jackson observed grimly. Elena studied the tactical display. Notice how they're maintaining equal distance from each other. I think their ships are linked somehow, sharing shield energy and targeting data. That would explain their incredible coordination, Jackson agreed. And it gives me an idea, Elena said. Dr. Kapoor, are you monitoring this? The ship's chief scientist responded over the comm. Yes, Captain. I see what you're thinking. If their ships are linked in a network, then we introduce a virus, Elena finished. How quickly can you modify our QD signature to generate quantum interference in their network? Theoretically possible, Kapoor replied, but we'd need to get extremely close to one of their command ships to transmit the interference pattern. Another barrage hit the Harbinger, this time from multiple directions simultaneously. Shields at 64%, Rashid reported. We can't take much more of this. Elena's mind raced. Lieutenant Park, plot a course directly through their formation. Aim for that larger vessel near the center. Captain. Park looked startled. That would put us in range of at least 200 enemy ships simultaneously. Exactly. Maximum QD phase, all power to engines and forward shields. We're going to punch right through their formation. Commander Jackson stepped closer. Elena, that's suicide. No, it's our only chance, she replied quietly. Their formation is their strength, but also their weakness. If Dr. Kapoor's interference works, their networked systems will cascade into failure. Jackson studied her face, then nodded. All hands, brace for maximum acceleration. Medics stand by for potential casualties. The Harbinger pivoted and shot forward, accelerating directly toward the heart of the void-borne fleet. Enemy fire intensified as they approached, dozens of energy beams converging on the human vessel. QD drive at maximum. Rashid shouted over the groaning of the ship's structure. Hull integrity at 72% and falling. Elena gripped her command chair. Stay on course. The Harbinger blazed through the outer layer of the alien formation, phasing partially through several enemy vessels. Alarms blared throughout the ship as systems trained beyond their design limits. We're approaching the command vessel, Park announced. Voice tight with tension. 15 seconds to optimal transmission range. Dr. Kapoor, ready the interference pulse, Alina ordered. Ready, Captain. But this will temporarily disable our TD drive as well. Understood. On my mark. Mark. A pulse of quantum energy erupted from the Harbinger, invisible to normal sensors, but devastating to the linked Voidborn network. Almost instantly, dozens of enemy ships began to drift out of formation, their weapons and shields flickering. It's working, Wei exclaimed. I'm detecting cascading failures throughout their fleet. The Harbinger shuddered as the TD drive went offline, leaving them vulnerable. Evasive maneuvers, Alina ordered. Get us out of the formation. Park responded immediately, guiding the damaged vessel through the momentarily confused Voidborn ships. Several enemy vessels collided with each other as their coordination failed. QD drive will be back online in 60 seconds, Rashid reported. We may not have 60 seconds, Jackson muttered, watching as the alien ships began to recover. The view screen flashed, showing Supreme Commander Xel-Karath again. This time, the alien's posture was rigid with what Alina recognized as fury, human deception. The alien hissed, "You have corrupted our battle meld. This violation confirms our judgment." "Your judgment means nothing," Alina replied defiantly. "You attacked without provocation. We defended ourselves. Your resistance is noted, but futile. Our secondary systems are engaging. Your ship will be destroyed and your planet cleansed." As if to emphasize the point, the remaining operational Voidborn vessels began to coordinate again, forming a new attack pattern. QD drive back online, Rashid announced. Full evasive. Get us some distance, Alina ordered. The Harbinger pulled away, but Alina knew they couldn't keep this up forever. They had bloodied the enemy's nose, but the battle was far from over. The Voidborn still outnumbered them nearly 1,000 to 1. As they retreated toward Saturn's rings, Alina watched the enemy regroup. They had bought some time, but Earth's fate still hung in the balance. Somehow, they needed to turn this small victory into something more permanent. "Captain," Wei called out suddenly, "I'm detecting unusual readings from within the enemy fleet. Some vessels appear to be fighting each other." Alina leaned forward, on screen. The tactical display showed a startling development. Nearly 50 Voidborn ships had broken formation and were actively firing upon other vessels in the fleet. "What's happening?" Jackson wondered aloud. Dr. Kapoor's voice came over the comm, excitement evident. "Captain, I believe our interference didn't just disrupt their network. It may have corrupted their command protocols. Some ships seem to have reverted to individual control." A new transmission came through, not from Xel-Karath, but from one of the breakaway vessels. The alien that appeared was similar in appearance, but with green eyes rather than yellow. "Human vessel," it spoke urgently. "I am Sub-Commander Vorleth of the Meridian Resistance. Your interference has temporarily freed us from collective control. We have little time before their override protocols reestablish dominance." Alina's eyes widened. "Meridian Resistance. I thought the Meridians were eradicated." "Many were, but some of us were forcibly integrated into the collective. We've maintained our consciousness, waiting for an opportunity. Your technology. It bears the signature of our research vessel that crashed on your world." "You sent it deliberately," Alina realized. "Yes. To prepare you for this moment, we must act quickly. Your quantum displacement technology can be modified to permanently disrupt the collective's control systems, but it requires precise calibration from both our vessels." Commander Jackson leaned in. "This could be a trap. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done so already," Alina pointed out. "We don't have many options, Commander." Alina made her decision. "Vorleth, transmit your calibration data. We'll synchronize our systems." Acknowledged, human ally. As the data streamed in, Dr. Kapoor worked frantically to integrate it with their systems. The main Voidborn fleet had reorganized and was advancing again, but now they faced opposition from within their own ranks. "Ready, Captain," Kapoor announced finally. "But we'll need to get within the center of their formation for maximum effect." Elena surveyed the tactical situation. They had one chance to end this threat, not just to Earth, but to the remnants of the Meridian people as well. "All hands," she addressed the crew. "We're going back in. This time, we finish it." The Harbinger turned once more to face the enemy, its engines flaring defiantly against the darkness of space. Behind them, Saturn's rings gleamed like a cosmic halo, while ahead, the future of two civilizations hung in the balance. Defiance against the stars. The Harbinger accelerated toward the regrouping Voidborn fleet, its hull scarred from the previous engagement. On the main view screen, the 50 Meridian resistance vessels fought desperately against their former masters, buying precious time. "Status of the modified KD pulse?" Elena asked, eyes fixed on the approaching Armada. Dr. Kapoor's voice came through clear but tense. "Integration complete. The Meridian calibrations are remarkable. They've effectively doubled our pulse radius. But, Captain, there's a significant risk." "Of course there is," Elena replied grimly. "Let's hear it." "Generating a pulse of this magnitude will likely burn out our KD drive completely. We'll be defenseless afterward." Commander Jackson frowned. "If this doesn't work, we'll be sitting ducks. And if we don't try, Earth is doomed anyway." Elena countered. "Lieutenant Wei, continuous scan of the Voidborn command vessel. I want to know the instant they change tactics." "Aye, Captain." "Wait." Detecting a massive energy buildup within their formation. They're combining their weapons fire into some kind of unified beam. The tactical display showed energy flowing between the alien vessels, channeling toward the front of their formation. "They're creating a super weapon," Jackson realized, using their network capabilities to function as a single weapons platform. Vorleth's transmission cut in urgently. "Captain Chen, they're preparing a planet-killer array. If that weapon fires toward your world, nothing will survive." Elena's blood ran cold. "Time to pulse range." 3 minutes at current speed," Park replied. "Time until their weapon is operational." Wei checked her readings. "Approximately 4 minutes, but that's just an estimate based on the energy buildup." "Not enough margin," Elena muttered. "Lieutenant Commander Rashid, divert all non-essential power to engines and shields." "Dr. Kapoor, can we fire the pulse at a greater distance?" "The effectiveness drops exponentially with distance," Kapoor explained. "At twice our optimal range, we might affect only 30% of their fleet." Elena studied the tactical display, mind racing. They needed to get closer, but the Voidborn weren't going to make that easy. "Commander Jackson, battle plan Delta 7. Jackson nodded, understanding immediately. "All hands, prepare for extreme maneuvers. Weapon crews, stand by for rapid target sequencing." Elena opened a channel to the Meridian vessels. "Vorleth, we need a corridor to the center of their formation. Can your ships provide a diversion?" "We will do more than divert, Captain Chen," the alien commander replied. "We will sacrifice if necessary. Many of us have been enslaved for decades in the collective consciousness. Freedom, even in death, is preferable." With that, the Meridian vessels formed into a spear-like formation and drove toward the weak point in the Voidborn defenses. The enemy responded immediately, dozens of ships breaking away to intercept the threat. "Now, Lieutenant Park, take us in, maximum velocity." The Harbinger shot forward, engines straining as they pushed well beyond safety limits. Ahead, the Meridian ships engaged the Voidborn in a suicidal attack, creating the opening they needed. "Enemy vessels adjusting," Wei reported. "They've detected our approach. Incoming fire." Energy beams lanced toward the Harbinger from multiple directions. "Evasive pattern Zeta," Elena ordered. "KD drive at 50% phase. We need some protection but must conserve power for the pulse." The ship twisted and turned, partially phasing in and out of normal space. Some enemy fire passed through them harmlessly, while other shots glanced off their shields. Shields at 47%, Rashid called out. Hull breaches on decks 4 and 7. Emergency teams responding. The deck shuddered beneath them as a direct hit struck their port nacelle. Engineering reports power fluctuations, Jackson announced. The drive is becoming unstable. Elena gripped her command chair. How long until pulse range? 30 seconds, Park replied, hands dancing across the navigation controls. But we're taking heavy fire. On the view screen, Elena watched as several Meridian vessels sacrificed themselves, deliberately colliding with voidborne ships to clear their path. They're giving their lives for us, Jackson said quietly. Then we make sure it's not in vain, Elena replied. Status of the voidborne weapon. Energy still building, White reported tensely. Approximately 1 minute to firing capacity. We're entering optimal pulse range, Park announced. All stop, Elena ordered. Dr. Kapoor, initiate the pulse sequence. The Harbinger shuddered to a halt at the heart of the enemy formation. Enemy fire converged on them from all directions as the Voidborn realized their intent. Shields failing. Rashid shouted over the wail of alarms. Multiple hull breaches. Pulse sequencing initiated. Dr. Kapoor's voice was steady despite the chaos. Synchronizing with remaining Meridian vessels. 10 seconds to discharge. The ship rocked violently as another hit struck home. Life support failing on decks 3 through 6, Jackson reported. Fire suppression systems activated throughout the ship. Elena held onto her chair as the bridge lighting flickered. Hold position. 5 seconds. Kapoor counted down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse away. The Harbinger seemed to shimmer as the modified quantum displacement pulse erupted outward in an expanding sphere of distorted space-time. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the voidborne ships began to drift out of formation. It's working, Wei exclaimed. Their network is collapsing. I'm detecting massive system failures throughout the fleet. On the main view screen, Supreme Commander Excel Kareth appeared one final time, its 4 eyes pulsing erratically. What have you done? The alien demanded, its voice distorting. The collective consciousness. Fragmenting. You cannot comprehend the damage. I understand perfectly, Elena replied steadily. You threatened our extinction. We responded in kind. This is not over, human. Sel Kareth hissed as the transmission began to break up. The collective spans galaxies. We will return. The communication cut off abruptly. Status of the enemy fleet, Elena asked. We scanned her readings. 827 vessels, disabled or severely compromised. The remaining ships are retreating, but in disarray. The weapon array has completely collapsed. A cheer went up from the bridge crew, quickly silenced as Elena raised her hand. The Meridian vessels. Wei's expression sobered. Only 12 remain operational, Captain. They've taken heavy casualties. Elena nodded solemnly. Open a channel to Sub-Commander Vorleth. The view screen flickered to life, showing the Meridian commander on a smoke-filled bridge. You've succeeded, Captain Chen, Vorleth said. The Collected's hold is broken. Those of us who remain are truly free for the first time in decades. Your sacrifice won't be forgotten, Elena promised. What will you do now? The Collective will eventually send another fleet. We must prepare. Vorleth paused. Your people have proven themselves worthy allies. The technology you've developed from our crashed vessel, you've taken it in directions we never considered. Perhaps we can learn from each other, Elena suggested. Earth would welcome Meridian knowledge and friendship. As would we welcome yours, Vorleth agreed. But first, we must secure your system against future threats. With your permission, we will establish a monitoring outpost at the edge of your solar system. Commander Jackson leaned in. Captain, are we sure we can trust them? They just sacrificed most of their people to save Earth, Elena replied quietly. I think they've earned some trust. She turned back to the view screen. We accept your offer, Sub-Commander. and we'll begin preparations to properly welcome you to Earth." As the transmission ended, Elena turned to her crew. The bridge was damaged, systems were failing, and the KD drive was burned out beyond repair. But they had achieved the impossible. One ship against 1,000, and humanity had prevailed. Lieutenant Commander Rashid, damage report. "It's extensive, Captain," Rashid replied, reviewing the incoming data. "QD drive is completely offline as expected. Engines at 27% capacity. Life support stable on remaining decks. We have enough power to limp home, but it'll take time." "Set course for Earth, best possible speed," Elena ordered, "and open a channel to Admiral Takahashi. Let's give him the good news." As the Harbinger slowly turned toward home, Elena gazed at the disabled void-borne vessels scattered across space. Humanity had been tested and had passed, not just through superior firepower, but through courage, ingenuity, and unexpected alliance. "Captain," Lieutenant Wei called out, "I'm receiving a transmission from Earth. They're cheering." Our battle was visible from Earth's telescopes. They watched the whole thing. Elena smiled tiredly. "Put it through to the ship's speakers. The crew deserves to hear it." The sounds of celebration filled the bridge. Cheers, applause, and cries of joy from a planet that had been on the brink of extinction just hours earlier. Commander Jackson stepped beside her. "What do you think happens now?" Elena watched as the remaining Meridian vessels formed up alongside the Harbinger, providing escort for the damaged human ship. "Everything changes," she replied simply. "Humanity isn't alone anymore. We've proven ourselves on the galactic stage, not just as fighters, but as allies worth having." She gestured to the stars beyond the view screen. "And out there, the word is spreading. The species that defeated the Void-born Collective with a single ship. One ship against 1,000, Jackson mused. They'll be telling this story for generations." Elena nodded, her gaze fixed on the distant blue marble of Earth growing steadily larger on their view screen. "And this is just the beginning." As the Harbinger made its slow journey home, escorted by their new Meridian allies, humanity took its first steps into a wider universe, no longer isolated, no longer primitive, but standing tall among the stars as defenders of their own destiny. The legend of the Harbinger and its impossible victory would spread across the galaxy, changing forever how other species viewed the humans from Earth. They were few in number, limited in technology, but possessed of an indomitable spirit that could not be measured by conventional means. One ship against 1,000, and humanity had prevailed.